Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is KidLee, and this is going to be episode 13 of the Intergalactic News Network. In this week's news, Ultra Drop 2 Sabotage went live this past week. This patch added a new PvP battleground named Daggerstone Pass. The patch also made some positive and some negative class balance changes. Most notable on the positive side, the Espers are now more mobile as some of their stationary abilities are now usable on the go. And for medics, gamma rays can now hit 3 targets per beam up from 1. On the downside, medic devastator probes and mending probes have had their detonate ability damage or healing reduced to 35% and 75% based on the tier. And on spell slingers, the quick draw target count has been reduced from 5 to 3 targets. Let's go ahead and switch on over to some dev chat. There has been some talk on the forums about upcoming changes to the positioning tool for the housing system. As confirmed by Lemonith, setting the axis of the object you're moving to the object instead of the world is something we will see down the road. Wouldn't it be nice if you could see what zone your guildmates are in? Well, Rob Martin, senior UI designer, says this is on our list of improvements for the guild panel. No ETA yet, but we're working on it. And finally, is your Orin mail shocked after last patch? Well, mine is. The devs are working on fixing this open mouth issue, as you can sort of see here, and they should have a patch for it fairly soon. So let's go ahead and move on to some Q&A. If you would like to submit questions for future shows, send questions to KidLee, asf@gmail.com, or send me a private message on YouTube. The first question of the day comes in from Tax Guy. He asks, I saw some stuff that I could mine, but was told that my mining skill isn't high enough. How do I raise it? And how do I find ore? Well, let me get into a couple things on this. First of all, how do you find what your mining skill is actually at? What you can do is down here on the lower left, click on the menus button, and go to trade skills, or you can just hit K, and it brings up your trade skills window. Under talents, you will actually be able to see what your mining skill is at. So you can see this particular character is level 5, I am maxed out. So to answer your other two questions, how do you actually raise it? It's actually the same as many other MMOs. You have to start out with low-level nodes and then work your way up. In this game, iron is the baseline, and then it goes up to titanium, and then so forth and so on. Like here in front of me, I happen to have a titanium node, and if I hover over it, it actually says requires mining tier 2. So that's how you know what you can or can't mine. As far as trying to find the items, if you take a look all the way up in the upper right where my mini-map is, you can see my character is located in the center of the screen. And then right here is a green icon. I would maybe call it the trophy icon. This is an indication of a mining node that is up ahead. And then this icon here sort of looks like a leaf. This is an indicator of a plant that I can actually farm for gardening if I wanted to go that route. But yep, that's pretty much it. So you have to just work your way up, similar to the other MMOs, and you should be good to go on that. And then the second and final question for today actually comes in from Bristol. They ask, is there any way to change the telegraph colors? And as you can see on screen here, I've got my number 1 up, the shred, and it's basically a light blue color. But to answer your question, at this time, there is no way to change the colors. I know this is something that they've talked about for a long time, going into beta. And actually, since the game has been released, I really haven't heard too much more on it. So I don't know if it's something that they are still planning on adding or not. I do know they have a colorblind mode in the game. If you actually go into your interface and you go to combat, down here is sort of this section for the telegraphs, and here's telegraph options. Here's the different colorblind modes, and you are able to set different slider bars on, do you want them to be brighter or softer, that sort of thing. But yep, just as far as straight up coloring changes, nothing at this time. But hopefully they'll add that later, because that would be definitely a cool option. But that, ladies and gentlemen, will go ahead and do it for this week's episode of the Intergalactic News Network. So with that being said, everybody keep playing and have fun.
Some